Right, so hello and welcome back to Books and Things and welcome back to Palliser Week. Today I'm going to be talking about the third book in Anthony Trollope's Palliser series / parliamentary novels, and that is The Eustace Diamonds. It was admitted by all her friends, and also by her enemies, who were in truth the more numerous and active body of the two, that Lizzie Greystock had done very well with herself. We will tell the story of Lizzie Greystock from the beginning, but we will not dwell over it at great length, as we might do if we loved her. So, The Eustace Diamonds by Anthony Trollope. This is a really interesting novel. It's the third book in the Palliser series and one that I really enjoy. It's not my favourite in the series, but nor is it my least favourite. It's kind of somewhere in the middle. This follows a woman called Lizzie. As you heard from the opening of chapter 1, her maiden name is Greystock. She marries near the beginning of the book and becomes Lady Eustace, and not too long after her marriage is made, her husband dies and she is left as a widow. But her husband's family don't really like her very much because she is kind of known in society for being both a flirt and a liar and generally not a very nice woman. After her husband's death, she is in possession of some diamonds, the Eustace diamonds, that she claims were a gift from her husband, but her husband's family say are a family heirloom and she has no right to, but she won't give up the diamonds. And this ends up kind of developing into a complicated situation, a sort of lawsuit, and people demanding that Lizzie give the diamonds back, Lizzie saying that she has a right to them when she kind of doesn't, and a big kind of divide between Lizzie and her late husband's family. Meanwhile, Lizzie would quite like to marry again, and there are two young men that she has in mind. One is a man called Lord Fawn, who has some qualms about getting involved with a woman who has an increasingly dubious reputation because of these diamonds, and the other is her cousin Frank. But Frank is in love with another young woman who happens to be the governess of the little sisters of Lord Fawn in an extra complicated situation. But while Frank may be in love with Lucy Morris, and Lucy Morris may perhaps be in love with him, Lizzie Eustace is also really quite enticing, and this kind of perhaps distracts Frank more than it should from his original honourable intentions. So, there's a lot going on in this book, and it is really well paced and really well plotted. Lizzie Eustace, I think, is a fascinating character to follow because she's really dislikable and kind of awful, and she lies and schemes and cheats her way out of everything, but she also doesn't entirely know that she's doing it. I dislike Lizzie very much, and Anthony Trollope himself in the opening sentences of the book admits to not loving her, but she is, for all that, a really, really interesting character, and the kind of drama surrounding the diamonds and her stubbornness and insistence on this point is really, really interesting. Frank is another very interesting character. I don't always like Frank, and he, a bit like Alice in Can You Forgive Her perhaps, is someone who often makes the wrong decisions and whom you kind of struggle to forgive over the course of the novel. I think in many ways Alice from Can You Forgive Her and Frank have quite a lot in common as characters. Lucy Morris I really, really like. She is my favourite character in this book and one of the kind of only uncomplicatedly likeable characters in this book. But there are many things in this book that I find really, really interesting. Like I said, this is not my favourite in the series, it's somewhere in the middle. I think possibly because it just doesn't have my absolute favourite things in Trollope, rather than because there's anything particularly that I don't like about it, as is more the case in Phineas Redu, which we'll come on to tomorrow. But there is a lot in the Eustace Diamonds to really enjoy. I think it's a really fun and different plotline, and the kind of device of the diamonds is used really, really interestingly, and the various people around Lady Eustace and her kind of complicated situation in society, the fact that she's very wealthy and therefore people kind of gravitate towards her, but also she's considered to be really a bit dubious, so therefore people don't, and the way people feel about that I think is really, really interestingly explored. So yeah, The Eustace Diamonds is a great novel, and one I would recommend. Please let me know down in the comments if you've read The Eustace Diamonds and what you thought of it, and I'll be back tomorrow to talk about the fourth book in the Palliser series.